Okay, making jerky, take 3. So, I got 2 of those big roasts cut up. I've got my meat weighed out on the scale. It's really important that you know exactly how much meat you have, because in this teriyaki jerky, we're going to use this pink cure number 2. Basically, it's salt and sodium nitrite. This little tiny package will cure 100 pounds of meat. So this package is 4 ounces. 4 ounces divided by 100 is 0.04. It's 0.04 ounces of this for every pound of meat. Very important to know. If you overdo it with this, you will basically just solidify and come up with a salt brick for your meat. So this is old school, old world way of curing meats. So I know I've got 31 pounds of meat cut up. I have my trusty handy dandy scale. You want a very accurate scale, one that will weigh, that you can separate to weigh ounces. I put my bucket on here. I'm going to zero it out. Now I have a 0 button on here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to take, I use Yoshida's, no big secret. I don't think I have an open one in there. Nope. We're going to find an opening device. Open this guy. And I'm just going to pour some right in the bottom of this bucket here. About 1/3 of it or so, roughly. I'm going to re-zero my scale. And then I'm going to put, I have 31 pounds of meat. I'm going to put, in the first batch, I'm going to put 15 pounds. In the second batch, I'm going to put 16 pounds. So how do I figure out how much of this stuff do I need? Well, I gave you the formula. You divide 4 by 100. You come out with 0.04. All you Common Core folks can spend 2 hours, figuring all that out on your whiteboards. But I'm going to do the math for you. So then I take that 0.04, multiply it times the pounds of meat that I got going on. So 0.04 times 15 is, ta-da, 0.6. So anyway, I'm just going to dump this in here until my handy dandy little scale says 0.6. You can go over a little bit, don't go under though. Going over a little bit is no big deal. If you go over a lot, throw it out, start over. This stuff is cheap. This stuff is not. Just a word of advice. So now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to swirl it around. I'm going to make sure that it gets mixed up in there really well. And I'm going to throw my glove on, and I'm going to throw 15 pounds of meat in here. And I'm just counting backwards on my scale here. You can glove up both hands and use both hands if you want. I'm pretty used to doing this, so I don't necessarily need to do that. And there we go. Okay, so that's my first one. I'm just going to set it aside real quick. I'm going to repeat the exact same process on this one. Okay, always remember to zero your scale every single time. Now this is 16 pounds, so I'm gonna bump it up to like that 0.65 range. As you can see, it does not take very much. And swirl it around again. Get it good and mixed up. You can use a beater or a whisk or whatever if you want. I've never seemed to have any issues with it, so I just do this. Okay. Now I don't have to do any measuring because I know how much meat I got left, so the rest of it, in she goes. As far as scales go, if you're doing a large scale like I do here, I would suggest investing some money in a big scale. You can get restaurant quality scales, you can get butcher shop scales. They're all over on Amazon. I found my brother Andy let me borrow a few years ago when I first started doing this. He let me borrow a refrigerant scale, and I found it worked really well. And so when it was time to give that one back to him, I went out and bought one. This is what that refrigerant scale looks like. Super handy. Works really well. This thing will weigh up to like 275 pounds. Way more than you'll ever need. The one thing I would suggest though is if you do get one, look for the auto off feature. I did not order that on this one, and I go through a ton of batteries because I'm a dork and I forget to turn it off. So now that I've got it on my brain, I'm going to shut it off right now. So I'm done with this scale for now. I'm actually done with both of my scales. So I now have meat that's ready to be mixed up. You want to make sure and get it mixed up really, really good. The reason being is because freshly sliced meat, fresh cut up meat, tends to want to stick together. And meat that sticks together means you're not getting teriyaki sauce in it, you're not getting cure in it, the whole 9 yards. It's just a mess. So, I'm not quite done there yet, but I'm going to start mixing the other one. Got some extra special love for one of these teriyakis. This is crushed red pepper. I use 4 ounces in any batch, 15, 20, 25, 30 pounds, 4 ounces of crushed red pepper. I pre-package everything because my amazing and beautiful fiance Renee suggested that I pre-package all my spices, and it's just made my life 100 times easier. So I do know how to take suggestions. Anyway, it's probably not the proper way to do that. It might be better just to use scissors. But, so, in she goes. I literally just dumped the whole thing in there. I'm going to dump just the rest of this bottle of Yoshida's. It's no secret that I use Yoshida's. This is the best teriyaki sauce I've ever found. One thing, you want to use plenty of teriyaki. I always turn them upside down first because all the sugar and everything settles to the bottom. You don't have to measure out how much of this stuff you use. Just don't be shy with it. You can't use too much. You can use too little though. So I'm going to throw in a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit more on here while I'm pouring. I know I'm going to use it. And back to stir. Once again, make sure you get a good stir on on all of this stuff. This is, now if you notice, oh yeah, that's gonna be some dandy teriyaki, spicy teriyaki jerky. For those of you who like the spicy stuff, this is, it's really good. It's not over the top. A guy can sit down and eat a whole package, not a problem. Okay. I always try to pat the meat down a little bit flat in here because it makes the excess teriyaki sauce rise to the top. And if I would have been smart, I would have done the spicy teriyaki last, so that way I wouldn't have to change gloves. But we're just gonna put on a new glove and call it good. You can use latex gloves, you can use vinyl gloves, whichever you want. I just find the vinyl ones are a little easier to put on. If you're in a food production environment, like a legit licensed food production environment, don't buy the powder gloves because they are not legit for food production. Anyway, the other one here, I'm just gonna stir it up real good. As I'm doing it, you'll see that I'm twisting my hand, and that just kind of breaks up all these little things, these little pieces of meat that stick together or they fold over onto themselves. You want that teriyaki sauce to get all up in that meat's business. Okay, this stirs a little bit easier. Only got to stir it one time per se. And once again, we're tapping that down. Okay, we're gonna come back over here, tap this back down, and we're good to go. I put it in the fridge. I always take, I buy these little wastebasket liners from Costco. You get like 5 million of them in a box for, I don't know, like 45 cents or something like that. They're not quite that cheap, but they're super cheap and super disposable, so they work really well for me. And what I do is I just spread them out. And I actually press them right down onto the top of the meat. Just keeps any excess air out of there. I don't know if it's an issue or not, but it's just how I've always done it, and it's how I'm going to continue to do it because it's been working. So, anyway, that's it. That's spicy teriyaki and teriyaki. Later tonight, I'm going to cut up the rest of that jerky meat. Got to go watch the Seahawks game first. Go Hawks, beat the Cowboys. And as I get that stuff cut up and